What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So it is very early in the morning. You guys are going to get to see the sunrise behind me. I want to talk a little bit about the inflation numbers. So they just came in a few days ago, and I wasn't able to go over them. So we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about food prices, as well as how this is going to impact people who are currently receiving Social Security, people who are retired. So that's what we're focusing on in this video. But first off, you guys can do me a favor. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell notification, and then click all. By clicking all, you'll get notified anytime we post a video. We post daily videos here, so by clicking the bell notification and clicking all, you should be getting updated every day. And just a reminder, thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. And if you'd like to follow me on Twitter and Threads, you can at the TEC Show Live. Okay, one more thing that I'm going to start doing. I have people that like my setup. They like the way I set up my video, my cameras, and all that stuff. So I will be showing you guys a link in the description, just showing you the equipment that I use. And some people are just interested. They might not want to buy it, but they're interested. They want to know how much it costs to run like a studio when you're traveling and things like that. So I just thought I might mention that. There are affiliate links, so if you do purchase something through those links, it does go to help the channel. Okay, let's go ahead and let me pull up the screen first so you guys can see what I'm looking at here. So these are the numbers, the CPI numbers for October. Okay, so remember we're a month behind. So in November 14th, that's when they released the information for October. And then in December, they're going to release the information for November. So I just want to look, and I mainly like to focus on, first, just look overall. So overall, 3.2%. So when we're looking at a 3.2% increase, that means that year over year is 3.2%. That means that we're pretty much where the cost of living adjustment landed. So cost of living adjustment landed at 3.2%. And right now, year to year, we're at 3.2%. Okay, we want to get it below that because we want the 3.2% increase for Social Security beneficiaries. We want that to be more powerful. So we want that dollar to go a little further than it did last year. And if we can get that to happen, that would benefit people who are currently receiving Social Security. Okay, so I want to take a look at food at home. Now, this is very important because this is a necessity. This is something that we all need. And if we're looking at food overall, we'll look at that first. So food overall was 3.3%. Obviously, we want to get that number down. Now, they're looking at food across the board, so they're also looking at food away from home and things like that. But food at home, when we're looking at that, this is food at home here, it's at 2.1%, okay? Now, what I like to do is I like to look at the history of food at home. So back in April, we saw a huge dip in month to month when it came to food at home. So we want to see the minuses. The minuses are good. And then in May, we saw an increase, a slight increase to 0.1%. In June, it didn't increase at all, so that was good. And then in July, we saw an increase, 0.3%. In August, we saw an increase of 0.2%. In September, we saw an increase of 0.1%. And then in October, we saw an increase of 0.3%. So it's not going in the right direction. We actually want it to start coming down. We want to see those minuses. Those minuses are good. So right now, overall food at home, 2.1%. When I say food at home, just so you guys understand, we're talking about groceries. You go to the grocery store, you buy food, and then you take it home. That's the food at home. Now, when we're looking at some of the other food categories, food away from home, so this is if you're going to restaurants and things like that, we'll quickly go over that. So April, it was 0.4%. May, it was 0.5%. In June, it was 0.4%. And then in July, 0.2%. August, 0.3%. September, 0.4%. And then October, 0.4%. So it's pretty much stayed pretty stagnant around this area here, okay? Now, this is a choice. You don't have to eat out. So if you're going to restaurants and things like that, you can really change and save money, I guess you can say, by not going to restaurants. We all know that, but when you're looking at the numbers here, obviously the food at home is a little bit lower than the food away from home. All right, other categories here. just some things worth noting. So fuel oil is down 21.4%. So there's a huge dip. And then you see here, you see in September, we saw an increase of 8.5%. And then in October, we saw a drop to minus 0.8%. So a huge change there. Just looking at some of the major changes, we'll go over those. Utility, minus 15.8%. And we're seeing that, you see it's across, it's all over the place when it comes to minus 4.9%, then minus 2.6%, minus 1.7%, then 2.0, and then 0.1. And so you see it's all over the place when it comes to utility pipe gas service. So these are really specialty things, so they're probably not going to impact you that much. Looking at used cars and trucks, just look at this. A huge dip. Now, this is good news for people who want to buy a used vehicle or need to buy a new car, because there are people out there, and I'm one of them. I'm driving an older car, and I'm looking at this market because I want to buy a new car or buy another car, but I don't want to pay the prices that these cars are what they're asking right now. It's just it's amazing. I never thought I would see cars $80,000 for a car, $100,000 for a car. We're not talking about luxury vehicles. We're talking about trucks. $100,000 for a truck? I mean, it's just crazy to me. But when you're looking at these prices, how they've dipped, so it was month to month, it was 4.4% here, 4.4% there. And then when we reached down into June, it started to drop, minus 0.5%, then minus 1.3%, then minus 1.2%, and then minus 2.5%, and then minus 0.8%. And so you see right now when it comes to used vehicles, cars and trucks, they're starting to really, really drop. When it comes to new vehicles, they haven't really seen that same results here. So you do see minus 0.2%, minus 0.1%, and then we had no increase there, then minus 0.1%, 0.3%, 0.3%, and then a minus 0.1% here. And so overall, 1.9% year to year. So those are some of the things we're looking at. Let me just read you the information about food. Okay, so this is a food index. So just looking at the food index, it says the food index rose 0.3% in October after rising 0.2% each of the last 3 months. The index for food at home increased 0.3% over the month after rising 0.1% in September. 4 of the 6 major grocery store food groups indexes increased over the month. The index for meats, poultry, fish, and eggs rose 0.7% in October, as the index for beef increased 1.2%, and the index for pork rose 1.3%. The other food at home index increased 0.3% over the month, as did dairy and related products index. The index for cereal and bakery products rose 0.2% in October after falling 0.4% in September. And so that's the information directly from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And so we see when it comes to inflation, inflation is starting to drop, okay? And this is the first time that we've seen it actually hit a wall and then start to come down a little bit. And so we're happy about that. Now we want to see it continue to drop, because by January, if we can get it down, realistically, by January, if we can get it down to in the 2s, maybe 2.5% or something like that, that would be great, because that would mean that cost of living adjustment of 3.2%, your purchasing power will be better than it was last year. And so that's what we're really focused on. We're really going to continue watching this to see where it goes. I want to know what you guys think, so let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.